We are live yet again. Let's give people a few minutes to join. Nina, great to see you. She's in the house straight away. Cindy, not seen you before, Cindy. Let us know where you are, where you're viewing from. How is everybody? I've got my coffee. I'm here as usual. Tonight we're going to be talking about something that I think is going to resonate with everybody on the planet. I know I label these scopes as like Bulletproof Actor, and a lot of people who kind of join the scopes are actors. I'm an actor myself, for those who don't know me. I'm a voiceover artist as well. But on these scopes, we talk about mindset, and we talk about sort of getting stuff done, motivation, positivity, you know, mind hacks, things that are going to enable us to get further in our lives faster. If you are watching this on the replay as well, by the way, then thank you very much for you to showing up. Who have we got here? Turgu, hello to you. Let us know where you're viewing from. Esby is new as well. Let us know. I think this one is going to be good for me, says Nina. Well, I think it is, Nina. It was something that you posted in the Bulletproof Actor Facebook group that kind of made me do this scope tonight. Tania is here as well. If you're new, there's loads of new people. Then let us know where you are joining us from. And as always, if you're watching this on the replays, like I say, thanks for showing up. You won't be able to comment like these guys can comment, but you can show some digital applause throughout the broadcast by tapping on your screen and give me some hearts if you like it. But so can everybody if you're joining live as well. Before we start, guys, we'll just give people a few minutes to join. Laura, great to see you. Laura's here. Then I just want to, I put a post out, so people who aren't in the Facebook group won't have got this. If you're an actor and you want to kind of join the group that we have for these scopes, go to facebook.com/groups/Bulletproof Actor and you can join. But I put a post out asking people to think about times in their lives where they've wanted to give up, but they haven't. And they've pushed on through and they've had some great success. So before we begin, and I'm going to read you an awesome story tonight. It's going to be a little bit like Jack and Ori time again. The Callie is here. Great to see you, the Callie. Let me know if for any kind of experiences you've had in your life where you've wanted to give up, or maybe, you know, right now, this week, maybe today, now, there's something in your life that you want to quit, you want to give up on. Cheeky Peeky, good to see you. Let me know what that is now, and give me any examples of times where you have quit in the past, or where you haven't quit and you've actually pushed on through and you've had some success, because there's been loads for me. There's been absolutely loads of times in my life where I've wanted to quit stuff and I've pushed on through, and I've achieved something great, really, that I didn't think that I would be capable of otherwise. Equally, there's been times in my life where I have quit things, and sometimes I've thought, have I quit that too soon? You know, whether that's things in work, in relationships, you know, so let me know if you've had anything that's maybe even going on right now where you've quit, and whether it's too soon. Hello from Brazil, amazing, great to see you from Brazil. Who's that? Dennis F. Carvalho. Oh, I'm so terrible with names, Dennis. I think it's Dennis, something like that. Great to see you though, I appreciate you, thank you so much for showing up. Yeah, so give us some hearts, or let me know if you've ever given up on something, or you haven't given up on something and you pushed on through. Yes, Carvalho. There we go. As I say, I'm not very very good with names, but thank you. It's amazing. We've got viewers from Brazil. That's awesome. Because there's been loads of times, like I say, where I've wanted to give up, definitely, and there's also been times I'm going to tell you about later where I didn't give up. And things, you know, I remember thinking back to when I was applying to go to drama school, and I don't know, for those who are in the UK, and maybe you're an actor or not, but getting into drama school is quite difficult in the UK. You've got to go through auditions that are similar to like X Factor, it feels like. It's ridiculous. You have like 2,500 people applying for just 25 places, and you go for initial auditions and then recalls and then second recalls, and you get really put through your paces. The school that I wanted to go to, I didn't get into first year. I went through the first round of auditions and then didn't get an audition after the second round of auditions. I kind of was dropped out of that hurdle there. And I was thinking, you know, there was a time for me there going, should I give up? Do I really want to do this? Because I can't apply until the following year. I'm going to have a year out. Am I just stalling? Am I wasting time? But my heart was absolutely set on going to this particular drama school. It was the Manchester School of Theatre, Manchester Met Uni, the Capitol Theatre in Manchester in the UK. And I stuck with it. I trained my hardest throughout that entire year. I applied the next year and I got a place. And had I just quit too early, God knows where I'd be. I wouldn't be here doing these scopes now, because I wouldn't have gone into the acting industry. I wouldn't have kind of got the skills that I got, you know, became part of the community and started doing these scopes. So that's one, and I'll tell you a few more later on. So tonight I want to read you a story which is awesome. It's called The Story. I don't know if you've heard it before, but the story of a guy called Darby. And I've called it Gold Rush. I don't know, there's not really a real title for it, but it's about gold. Has anybody heard it already? Because it's a great story. If you have heard it, you might want to hear it again to remind yourself of it. If you've not heard it, then this is brilliant. I only heard this 3 days ago, and it resonated with me massively. But I saw I saw your post in the Facebook group saying that, you know, that so Hitesh, my man, Hitesh is here. So you've not heard it either. This is great, Hitesh. You're gonna love it, mate. Honestly, you're gonna love this. Yeah, Nina said that she was, you know, kind of her perseverance was being tested in the acting industry in her job. It doesn't matter what job you do, guys, you know, whatever career you're in. If you're not an actor, I'm sure there's going to be times where your perseverance is tested and where you feel you're not getting anywhere, or you're not getting that promotion, or you're not getting that pay rise, and it's like, is it ever going to come off? And you start questioning yourself, and then you create these limiting beliefs about your ability, and, you know, you start accepting things that you should never accept, and you live a really limited life. You know, and sometimes you quit. And there are times where quitting is okay. There are times where quitting is really doing yourself a disservice. Vishal is here, and I'm going to read you this story now. So it's a little bit like book club, but it's not a book. It's just a little story here. So I want to take you back. Hello, Vishal. I want to take you back, guys, to like the turn of the 1900s. Okay, right at the very turn of the century. This is back in the gold rush days of the wild, wild west. There was a man. And this man, this is a guy, Darby. I don't know what his first name was. His initials are R and U, but let's call him Robert, okay? Robert, I don't know what name begins with U. Darby, okay? It was his uncle, actually. His uncle heard about riches that were being found and struck in mining for gold out on the western frontier. So, Darby's uncle, okay, left Maryland to journey to Colorado and stake a claim in the newfound gold. After some preliminary digging, he discovered that he had found a deposit of gold so vast that it boggled everyone's minds. So these guys had gone out there on a limb, you know, just because they'd heard that, you know, there was loads of money to be made. And they started digging with really rudimentary tools, you know, pickaxes and stuff, and they actually hit gold, gold ore. It was thought they had found the biggest gold mine in history. Okay, so Darby's uncle travelled back to Maryland to raise the funds necessary to buy and install all the equipment they would need to mine the gold, because they couldn't carry on mining this gold with their little pickaxes and shovels. They needed some pretty big-ass machinery to do that. On the return trip to Colorado, so they'd raised this money, they'd got the equipment, and they were going back. Both the uncle and now Darby himself went back to Colorado to stake their claim. They went to work on the mine. They pulled the first cart out of the mine filled with gold ore. They sent it back to the smelters to determine the gold content. So what they would do is they would send this sample off. It would get smelted, which is analysed, melted down, I don't know, smelted, whatever that is. And then they would analyse it for its quality, you know, whether it was worth actually, you know, mining more. They sent it to the smelters, okay, and the results came back, and the results proved that indeed this looked like one of the richest finds of gold in all of history. Of course, everyone was mesmerised with dollar signs in their eyes. They knew that in just a short period of time of mining, they would find all the wealth that they had ever dreamed about, and way more as well. So these guys were onto something that was massive, massive. So they fired up their drills and they went after the gold with a vengeance, and that's when they hit their wall. Something happened. The gold vein had mysteriously disappeared. It was nowhere to be found. They kept digging and digging and digging further down, but to no avail. It just wasn't there. So what they'd hit initially, in between them hitting the gold, initially sending it off to be smelted and analysed, and raising the money to get all the tools to come back and mine it properly, that vein had completely disappeared. Their hopes, their dreams, all their wishes were dashed. They had come crushing down. Boom, lost them all. Now down and out, depressed and dragging their feet with their shoulders stooped, they finally decided to quit. Okay, so they just decided after all that, forget it, throw the towel in, we're not doing this anymore. They had all those thoughts that no doubt you've all had before. Now give me some hearts if you've thought like this before, okay? So thoughts like this, they said to themselves, boy, we were pretty stupid to think we'd be the ones to find the biggest gold deposits in history, weren't we? I'm not saying you've discovered gold, but if you have these kind of thoughts when things don't go right. What the heck were we thinking? Surely if there was any gold here, the entire world would be digging. We're just a bunch of amateurs anyway. The others that are digging are all well financed and they're told where to dig by geologists. We come down here on a hunch and a prayer, hoping to make the gold somehow appear. Boy, that was dumb. We're just a bunch of dreamers. We'll never again. I'll tell you what, Darby, I'll never waste my time chasing down any other of these wild goose chases. I'm an adult. This is the stuff that kids like you, your age, go after. I'm too old for this crap. I'm going to settle in, get a good paying job and do the smart thing. Okay, will you just, it says here, will you just kick my teeth in next time I have a stupid idea like this? So all that massive kind of belief in their potential initially, when they'd struck this gold, they'd got so excited about it, they'd gone back, raised the money, got the tools, the gold sample had been smelted, it was like, this is going to be the biggest find in the world. They go back, something's changed, they can't find the gold, and bang, they're absolutely destroyed. So they were having great luck. You might have been having great luck in your life up to a point, and then somehow you hit this brick wall, and then you've gone, right, well, you know what, forget it. I'm going to quit it. Just no point, okay, just no point. So they decided to walk away and sell their equipment for whatever they could get for it, okay? They found a man who bought junk for pennies. The junk man bought all their machinery and equipment for a few $100s, that was all. The Darbys took the next train back to Maryland, so that was them out of the picture. They just quit and they'd gone home. Mr. Junkman decided to bring in a mine engineer, a specialist, look at the mine and do some analysis. Well, it didn't take long for this specialist to discover what the Darbys had done wrong, where they had made their mistakes. Patricia, hello to you, just seen you join. It turns out, as he explained to the junk man, the Darbys had overlooked or were completely unaware of fault lines. So I don't know if you know what fault lines are, but obviously the Earth's crust is divided up into tectonic plates, and these plates can move over each other, and where they move, that's a fault line. So that's why we have earthquakes, when all the pressure kind of builds up as it's moving, and then all of a sudden there's a jolt and we have a massive earthquake. Well, they weren't aware of these fault lines. They weren't aware that the Earth itself could actually move. So according to his calculations of this analyst that the Junkman brought in, the huge gold vein would be found again just 3 feet from where the Darbys had stopped drilling. Needless to say, they started drilling in that place and the gold vein was found exactly 3 feet away, exactly where the fault line shift indicated. The result, Mr. Junkman, who had just bought this stuff off the Darbys for a few $100s, found millions of dollars worth, and this is a true story, in gold ore, simply because he had the presence of mind to seek a specialist or an expert before he gave up. So the moral of the story, I mean, I'll leave that up to you guys to think about in your life. How does that relate to you in terms of things that you've experienced in your life? Is there anything that you're going through right now where you're like, I'm about to give up, before you've really explored? Maybe you think you've explored every avenue, but maybe, maybe there are still other experts or people you could bring in order to help you. I want you to realise as well, you shouldn't feel bad for Mr. Darby either, okay? You see, what appears to have been a massive blunder, and it was, actually taught Darby the most valuable lesson of his life. Remember that he vowed to find a good job. So in one of those statements he went, you know what, I'm going to settle in and just get a good job. Well, he did do that. He went on to work in the life insurance business. This was at the turn of the century, the 1900s. He remembered the lesson that he'd learned and he vowed never to stop short again. He knew that every no he got when he was selling life insurance took him one step closer to a yes, and we've talked about that before on a lot of these scopes. A lot of people are the best salesmen in the world. For every no they get, they don't take that as one step back. They take that as, actually, you know what, for every no I get, that means I'm one step closer to a yes. That was his attitude. Darby never stopped. He became one of just a handful of what they call producers in the industry, in the life insurance industry, who sold over $1 million in life insurance annually, and this was in the early 1900s. So that is, you know, a phenomenal amount of money. He'd learned to stick with it because he'd already experienced quitting in his past. So I want to ask you, have you had your gold vein experience yet? Has there been anything in your life like that, where you've gone, you know what, because I quit that and that didn't go ahead, I am, I quit that, whatever, and then someone else succeeded on something that I was going to do. Maybe you had an idea for something and you decided to quit, and then suddenly, you know, it comes out a couple of years later, someone else has done it and they've made a fortune out of it. Has there been anything like that for you? In my acting career, I've spoken about this before on another scope, there was an audition when I was a kid. I was about 12, and I had 2 auditions one day, and I thought I'd struck gold on the first audition. I thought we'd spent the whole day there, and there was about 20 people to start with, and we whittled it down, and there was me and one other guy up for this part in this thing, and I was convinced I had it. That afternoon I had another audition planned that I was supposed to go to, but because we were running a bit late and I thought I'd nailed this one anyway, I never went to this audition, because this audition seemed like it wasn't going to be for anything great. It was going to be for a film that went straight to video. Okay, I didn't go to that audition. In the end, I didn't get that job that I thought I'd had initially, and I didn't go to that audition. That film, that at the time was going to go to video, ended up being a massive British cinema blockbuster. It was called, when I was going to go for it, There's Only One Jimmy McGregor. Turned out to be a film called There's Only One Jimmy Grimble, and it was a kid playing football. I'd have been perfect for it. I'll never know whether I would have got that part because I didn't go for it. And from that was my gold vein moment to go, you know what, from then on, if I ever get asked to go to an audition again, it's an audition that, you know, that I really like the sound of, I'm going to go and I'm going to do it. I quit and I went to live in Italy for 9 years. Had great experiences, but came back 3 years ago. Yeah, I didn't know you spent that long, Patricia. Wow, but won't quit again. Amazing. Definitely. There was times before I ran the websites that I run. So I run a few websites now. I run the main website I run for actors is called Act On This, the TV Actors Network. It's actonthis.tv. If you're checking this out on YouTube and you want to, or you know, you want to go over there now whilst we're live on the scope. Before that, I actually ran a website, a community website for the stock market, because I went on a game show and I won a significant amount of money on a game show. And I thought, I'm gonna invest this in the stock market, because I thought, you know what, it was about 2009, the banks had just crashed, the stock market was on its backside. I thought, I'm gonna make some money fast here. And I invested just a couple of £1,000s into the stock market, and then that began to kind of lose its value. And then I started chasing it, and I threw thousands and thousands and thousands more after it. Until, and this is the first for you, I've not admitted this to many people, until I had £30,000 invested in one stock on the stock market. That £30,000 at one point was worth £3,000. I'd nearly lost the entire lot. It took 4 years for me to lose all of that and those stocks to come down to be worth that little. But it put me in a terrible place sometimes, where I would look at it and just go, what on earth have I done? I was like, FML, Vishal, exactly, that's what I was thinking. I was like, seriously, this is horrendous. I've nearly lost it all, everything, and what an amazing opportunity I was given, and I've nearly thrown it all away. And I just wanted to hit that sell button, get that £3,000 back, throw that £27,000 away, wave it goodbye, and just go forget it, because I don't want to keep looking at this. I've looked at it every day for 4 years, and it's doing my head in. Something inside me just said, hang on, just hang on in there, something will happen, don't quit, something good will happen. And lo and behold, in the space of about a week, one time in about, I think it must have been about 2012, the company, for very little reason actually, they released one piece of good news that I think everyone got excited about, and that £3,000 overnight was worth £32,000 again. So I'd recouped that 27k plus £2,000 profit. I started to sell the shares instantly, because I thought, oh my God, thank you Lord, I'm like out of this. And it wouldn't let me sell them because I was selling too much of it. Sometimes the market goes, no, you're not selling that many. By the time I'd managed to sell, I managed to sell them for £29,300. So I lost £700, but it was the best £700 loss of my life, getting this £27,300 back. I was at £29,300 back. I was like, this is absolutely amazing. Had I quit, I would not have got that 29 grand back. Well, I would have lost £27,000 had I quit. And I was so ready to quit even just a week before that. But I thought, you know what? You know, you've lost so much, you might as well just go all in now. If you lose the other 3 grand, what the hell? But part of me selling was just to get that psychological thing out of my brain to go, I'm not invested in this anymore. I don't want to be part of it. That's why I would have took the 3 grand. But I stuck in there and I got it all back. And since then, I have vowed I will never touch the stock market again. My kids are never going to touch the stock market if I have some. They find a wife first. But yeah, don't dabble in the stock market, guys. It's just a casino. But that for me was another bit of a gold vein moment to go. I'm not doing that again. You know, let's invest our money in things that are safer and, you know, far more productive than that. But there's been little things in my life where I've gone, you know what, let's not quit. Even down to the simplest everyday stuff, guys. Who's ever done this? Who's ever lost a contact lens when they've been out in public? Anyone done that? I came back stronger after learning much about myself. Exactly, Patricia. You learn so much, definitely, from these events. Darby, you know, most people could have been crushed by that and gone, I've just literally given up millions and millions of dollars worth of gold. He went on to do something great and still made millions. So Vishal has, yeah. So I lost the contact lens at a barbecue once. When I was younger, I was probably about 15. I had these hard contact lenses. They weren't daily disposables now. They're quite expensive. They're about £90 each. So a pair of contact lenses about £180. And that was a lot of money to my mum and dad. So I was like, you know, I've got to look after these when I'm out. And we were mucking around as kids, and I lost one in the garden at a friend's house. And we searched and searched and searched for about 2 hours for this contact lens, because I was going, oh my god, my dad's going to kill me, this is 90 quid, you know, we can't just afford to do this, and then I'm going to be stuck with one eye that works and one eye that doesn't. Oh, what are we going to do? And we were like, it was getting dark, we were like, we should just quit, just forget it, boys, just forget it. And I was like, no, I can't quit. Something inside me just tells me to just carry on. And lo and behold, about 15 minutes later, we found the contact lens. The chance of finding a contact lens like this big in a massive garden, and we'd been all over it, like insane. But we didn't quit. We carried on, and we found it. And that's only a little thing, but it meant so much to me at the time. So just have a think about what you're thinking about quitting at the moment, if there is anything in your life that that you feel you were destined to do, you feel you really, really want to do. There's a difference between quitting things that you really, really want to do and quitting things that actually, when you look at it and you say, could I live without this thing? What would my life be like if I didn't do it? Well, actually, it'd be better because I wouldn't have this stress, I wouldn't have this anxiety and all this kind of thing. And that's probably a good thing to quit. But if there are things in your life, like Nina, like your acting career, that you feel is a calling for you, that is, it's something, a huge part of your life, that if you had to say tomorrow to your kids, yeah, well, I quit that because I just couldn't really hack it, really, just didn't have the perseverance. If you'd be happy to say that, then that's fine. It's the right thing to do. But if you wouldn't be happy to say anything like that, and to actually say to someone honestly about why you've quit, don't quit, because you never know how close you are. And I'll just say one last thing before we go in terms of examples of this. I'm going to be doing a podcast soon with an amazing lady called Annie Wallace, who I've spoken about on another Periscope before, who is an actress who for 50 odd years lived a double life. She lived in what was called stealth. So she was, I don't know exactly when in her life, but she decided that she was a woman living in a man's body, and was kind of like secretly transgender, and went through all that, but then never told anybody about it. And for years and years and years, she wanted an acting career, and she got a few parts on TV, in what's called like stealth mode, where she didn't tell anybody that what had actually happened to her. This year, finally, she came out in 2015 as like, this is me, this is who I am. I'm no longer living this lie. People accept it or don't accept it, and it completely liberated her. And now she's just landed a role that she's just got a year contract. It's just been renewed from 6 months to a year's contract on Hollyoaks, big program here in the UK, as the show's first transgender character, played by a transgender actress. She plays the headmistress of the school in Hollyoaks. It's an awesome part for her. She's amazing, and she waited 50 odd years for that break, faced so much adversity, lying to herself and everyone around her about who she was. And then, I'm sure when I interview her, there's going to be so many times she wanted to give up. I know there is. I went to, she was in the year above me at drama school. So I know there is for a fact there was times where she just wanted to quit. But she didn't. She hung in there. She persevered. and she sought advice like the Junkman did, off specialists in the industry, off experts, you know, off people who could help her. That's the thing. Have you exhausted all avenues where you have reached out to people? There's one thing about writing to casting directors and writing to agents on a daily basis, and then there's actually reaching out to other people who can get you in front of those people in different ways, or actors who are with those particular agents who can pull strings and get you a meeting. You know, have you reached out to everybody around you who can help you? Because I bet most people haven't. So think about that. Who else can you recruit to, you know, as these experts to help you achieve your goals? You can't do it on your own all the time. You know, definitely. EastEnders have just cast a transgender actor too. Yeah, they have. They announced it the same week, Patricia. So they have. Yeah, they've got a transgender guy. So a girl who is now a guy on EastEnders. But it's a really big thing. So yeah, they both. It's funny how soaps do similar storylines at the same time, isn't it? But they've both done that and announced that over the last couple of weeks. I think Annie's scenes in about 2 weeks' time, the first ones. I couldn't live with myself if I quit, but need a wee little bit of magic. But the beautiful thing is, Nina, and I said this before, Dan Ryan, great actor, stars in Mount Pleasant, he's in Homeland on ITV at the moment. Loads of great stuff. Did I say Homeland? What did I say? Home Fires, I meant. Homeland, maybe he'd want to be in that because that's an awesome show. He said to me in an interview, he goes, you know what, Sunday night at the start of every week, he goes, I love it when I'm not employed. Not that he loves not being employed, but he loves that magic that might happen that week that you talk about, Nina, where he goes, you know what, the phone could ring tomorrow. And I love that in my career when, you know, I know, for instance, when my voiceover agent rings on my phone, I'm like, what is this? What can it be? When my acting agent rings, what is this? What could it be? And you never know. Those calls come at the strangest times sometimes, when you're least expecting them. And sometimes you get 2 or 3 on the trot within a few days. Other times you might go a few months with nothing. And that can get you down. But then it only takes one phone call to flip your world sometimes, to go, wow, things are back on track. So you just need that little bit of magic, Nina, and you never know when it might appear. It could appear tomorrow morning, you know, 9 o'clock. You know, so get up and at 'em, and you know, and just think of how you can make it happen, what you haven't explored yet, because there will be areas that you haven't explored. You know, that you just need to keep digging. Boom, like that was 3 feet away. If it had just kept digging, just 3 feet. It's like that tiny shift that I mentioned in direction. If you turn the steering wheel just 5 degrees and drive for a minute, you're not going to end up in a very different place. If you turn the steering wheel just 5 degrees and drive for an hour, you're going to end up in a massively different place. And you might not be able to change your destination in just a day, but you can change your direction right now. So just think about what direction you're in and whether you need a little shift and you need to change that direction. So that's it for tonight, guys. I hope it's been a nice little story. I just read it the other day and thought, wow, what a great story. Just the difference 3 feet can make. Tiger Woods did another story about talking about the difference a millimetre can make when you strike a golf ball with a club. The difference between success sometimes is just a millimetre. The difference between success and failure can just be 1 mil to the left or 1 mil to the right. Doesn't mean that everything's going wrong or that you're doing everything wrong. You might just need a tiny little shift to recalculate your journey, I guess. Smiley faces off Hitesh. Thanks, Hitesh. Thanks for showing up again. Thanks to everybody. If you've enjoyed that, Sliding Doors, Patricia. Exactly. Yeah, I've not seen that film in many years. But yeah, check that out. It's Back to the Future Day today, guys. Who watched Back to the Future today? How amazing is that? That was awesome. I've not seen Back to the Future again in years. I might go in and have a little look at that as well. Get a bit nostalgic. Isn't it interesting how they thought the future would be in 2015 with hoverboards and flying cars, and actually what it is like? Although this is pretty amazing, but they didn't imagine they could be doing Periscope in 2015, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to be back, guys, on Friday. We're going to be looking at, it's going to be book club. They predicted Jaws 19. Yeah, they did. Well, they predicted 3D, didn't they? Because the Jaws thing came out of the cinema. Thanks, Ross. Onwards and upwards. Pleasure, Nina. We're going to be talking about this again on Friday. This might be the last book club on this, because then we're probably moving on to Lewis Howe's book, School of Greatness, because Lewis's book is out on the 27th of October. pre-order it from Amazon. Get that in time for the book club after this Friday. That'll be next Friday's book club, I think. But for this Friday, we're going to be looking at Carol Dweck's mindset again. We've done one session on this. I'm going to be reading you a little bit more, all about mindset, how you can change your mindset from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, and really kind of look at life very differently. Seek out opportunity. You know, just be happier, be more fulfilled, because you're not of a fixed, very limited kind of mindset. You're of a growth mindset where you can look at failure as success as well. When things are going right, fixed mindsets and growth mindsets are very similar. When things are going wrong, they're very, very different. Growth mindset looks at how they can kind of, you know, get through adversity, what they can use that, you know, that for, that they can rise to the challenge. A fixed mindset goes, oh, you know, I'm not made for this, I can't do it, might as well quit. And remember, we don't want to quit. We've seen tonight what quitting can do. So check it out, Mindset. Get it on Amazon if you want to read it. It's an awesome book. It will, well, potentially change your life. Honestly, awesome stuff. So until then, guys, thanks so much for showing up once again. I appreciate every last one of you. I hope that's helped. Don't quit. Go out there tomorrow and still chase your dreams. Chase whatever you want to do, because you never know where, well, you know, how close you are to, you know, to that goal. Workshop tomorrow with Ray Cooney, Network. I don't know who Ray is, Nina. Who's Ray? Tell me before you go. I'm interested. Curious about who Ray is. I'm gonna have my coffee and still got this dodgy throat, guys, as well. So if I sound a bit weird, sorry about that. I'm trying to just dose up on Vic's First Defence every single day, but I think I've completely overdosed on it. I think I'm supposed to do it for 72 hours. Did it for about 5 days so far. So it now makes me sneeze about 15 times every time I do it. Famous farce producer. Laura's got the flu. Bloody hell, Laura. Playwright, run for your wife. Oh, I see that. One side, honestly, guys, I'll hold my hands up. One side of me, since leaving drama school, that I've completely neglected is the theatrical side in terms of theatre. I'm massive on film and TV. Theatre, I will revisit at some point, but I don't watch enough theatre. I don't do enough theatre. But I'm a geek. I love cameras like this. Theatre, dear. Yeah, exactly. It's all a bit lovey for me, but I enjoy watching my mates if they're in shows. I'll always go and support those. But yeah, maybe at some point I will revisit theatre a little bit. Maybe we should get together, guys, all us the actors on these scopes, and we'll put on a little show at some point down the line, all about Are You Darby in the gold mine. We could reenact it. That'd be amazing. Good stuff. Right, I will see you on Friday. Thanks so much for showing up again, guys. Really do appreciate it. Thanks for spending time with me. If you're watching the replay and you want to watch more replays, go to actonthis.tv/category/Periscope, or to be easy, just go actonthis.tv, click on Periscope in the menu. It's a little bit easier. And if you want to join the Facebook group, like I said at the start of the broadcast, it's facebook.com/groups/Bulletproof Actor. If you want to get your invite to my upcoming mindset course that I finally finished today. I keep saying I finished it, guys, then I keep adding pages to it. I finally finished writing it today. I've literally got, look, I even printed out as proof the last page of the course, which is a final message from Ross. It's done. I just need to film the units. This is going to take a couple of weeks, and then I can finally start getting it out to you guys, which is amazing. Very excited about it. If you want to be a part of that, go to bulletproofactor.com. Get writing the script for the play too. Yeah, I will do. I'll do that, Nina. In between everything else, I'll try to squeeze it in. Thanks so much. Until next time, bye for now.